Hi everyone, welcome to Writing with Dr. Chloe. Today we are going to be talking about the very hot topic of should you get an MFA? I have an MFA and a PhD, so I feel like I'm very qualified to speak on this matter, and there are many thoughts on this, and today I will be focusing on 3 pros of getting your MFA. And today I have my coffee, and it's going to be this organic conversation with some pros. So if you're thinking of applying, hopefully this will help you think of the pros. And in a later video, I will get to the cons because there are plenty of cons as well. But today, we're focusing on the positive. Yay, writing. So again, 3 pros of getting your MFA. And I am choosing to talk about this because I feel like I see this discourse on Twitter all the time. There's kind of this notion of MFA versus NYC. Do you need an MFA to be a writer? And the simple and evergreen answer is no. You never need an MFA to be a real writer. Real writing takes work, takes writing, right? That is the act. So maybe I should start by saying why I chose to get an MFA. So I chose to get my MFA because I had just kind of fallen in love with writing in undergrad, and I wanted to continue. And I felt like if I didn't continue, I would have felt not myself. And I feel like choosing things that align with your purpose, your soul, your path are always good things, whether they give you millions of dollars or make you broke. Things that align with who you are and your core are always good ideas, and I'll always argue for that. So I chose to get my MFA because I felt like I needed space to write, and writing was always going to be a part of who I was, and I was kind of in this space of acknowledging that and listening to myself and hearing that truth, because I think for the longest time I tried to be other things. I was like going to go to med school and be a dermatologist. I was going to be a real estate agent. I was going to be a high school teacher. I was going to be an accountant at once. There was many other paths that I thought in my brain, oh, that makes sense, I should do that. But my heart, soul, whatever you want to call it, was telling me that, hey, this is what brings you peace. This is what brings you joy. This is what makes you come alive. Go become better at this. And so that's what I did. I listened, and I applied to MFAs. I'm from Southern California, so my search kind of stayed there. I ended up getting my MFA from UC Riverside, and I was excited to go there because I had gotten my undergraduate degree at UC Santa Barbara, so I appreciated the UC systems, and I knew that they invested into their faculty and their research and their programs quite well. And I was applying in creative nonfiction because at the time I was really excited about that. I was just coming off being a staff writer at UC Santa Barbara for their newspaper, the Daily Nexus. And I was really into screenwriting too. And, you know, Riverside's close to Los Angeles, so they did have a screenwriting genre as well. And I liked that this program allowed students to choose a secondary area of study, which I think is also important in creative writing and getting an MFA. And so that would allow me to also hone my craft in screenwriting. So I applied there, and it was actually the closest school to Southern California where I am that had creative nonfiction as a genre, because when I applied, not all MFAs had creative nonfiction yet, where they all kind of had fiction and poetry. They didn't quite all have creative nonfiction. So I went there. Never regretted my choice. So, 3 pros of getting your MFA might be easy for me to say because I never regretted my choice. And so I would say the 3 pros are: 1, getting an MFA gives you time to write. And I think as you get older, you get into relationships, you get into your job, maybe you get this corporate job, maybe you have kids or pets or family, or you're a caretaker, and time just slips so fast that before you know it, you realize you never wrote your novel or your memoir or your essay collection or your short story cycle or your book of poems, and you're not going to get that time back. And so getting an MFA truly, truly gives you 2 years, 3 years to write. And even if you never publish the manuscript you write in your MFA, you usually get really great experience. And you also like might learn how to be a teacher, which happened to me, and I fell in love with teaching. And that was this like a pleasant surprise of getting my MFA, was learning to teach, and actually that students liked me and I was good at it. And I was like, hey, writing gave me teaching. Like, this is a win-win. But again, number one pro, time to write. Life happens so fast. We don't always get the time. And time is gold. I wouldn't say it's money. In an MFA, time is gold, for you and your soul and your purpose. So number two, support to sharpen your craft. Again, support to sharpen your craft. As a writer, I think that it's really important to never think that you have arrived and that you are so good that you never need to learn from anyone again. I think that's the biggest lie anyone could ever tell themselves. And I think that if you talk to any writer working in the industry, they will tell you that we're always growing, we're always learning, because you are. I mean, you're reading things and how to describe scenes and, different like structures, and you might dive into like from like lyric to experimental to narrative, and you're just learning ways to sharpen your craft. And in a master's degree, an MFA, you really get that support. You get it from really smart faculty, well published in the field, and you get that from your peers, by critiquing each other's work and critiquing your own. You get to really focus on language and scene and, character and, like the emotional pull of a piece and what's driving it in the image in ways that you might not get teaching yourself. So again, pro for MFA, support to sharpen your craft. At least for me, I know that I grew so much in my MFA in terms of craft, and I don't know if I would have had that same growth in those 3 years if I didn't get MFA. So again, we can always be better, and you get the time to write and the support to sharpen your craft. And so point 3 in today's vlog of pros of getting your MFA, and this might be a surprise because typically I don't hear this in the discourse, but personally, as a writer and also a teacher, and a literary reader and a literary citizen, I think the chance to 3, focus on other genres is a pro to getting your MFA. So you might be thinking, oh, but I'm getting my MFA in fiction, or like I'm a poet, so I'm not going to be doing anything else. And that might be true. Like, it might be true. But personally, from observation and personal experience, I've seen that that's never true, and that people who come in writing fiction start writing nonfiction and falling in love, or the poet might also write nonfiction, or like nonfiction writer might turn to poetry as a place to truncate and tighten like their like emotions in life, and use image and language to guide, like a prose poem, or something where they feel like this like kind of exciting moment of putting that might be a 4,000 word essay into an image in like a poem, a 2-page poem or something. So I think that is like a pleasant surprise of getting your MFA, is that often MFA encourages you to dabble in other genres. So again, in my MFA, I had my primary focus in creative nonfiction, and then I had my secondary focus in screenwriting. But I also was able to take poetry and fall in love with poetry. And I thought like, oh, I'm not so good at poetry, but I really like it. And, it can be intimidating and scary to kind of branch out of your genre that you were entered for your MFA. But I think like, people hopefully want to support you and watch you grow. So when I got to my PhD, I kind of left screenwriting behind, and I still focused on creative nonfiction. That's my main focus of my PhD. My PhD is in English, but I was able to write a creative dissertation, a creative nonfiction piece for my dissertation. And but I also like fell in love with poetry. Like I ended up winning like this huge like poetry award, and I published poetry, and I fell in love further with poetry in my PhD. And I got more confident, and I just feel like poetry was just like this nice space for me to work through more complex emotions or ideas or scenes where I wasn't ready to perhaps place them in even a flash piece or a larger essay. So the focusing in other genres in an MFA is just this pleasant delight, and I say try as much as you can, because you never know what genre you're going to fall in love with. And I can say that I have fallen in love with poetry, and I hope I get the space to continue to write and publish poetry as well as creative nonfiction. But yeah, so again, to reiterate today's main points, the pros of getting your MFA: one, real time to write because life happens so fast, and two, support to sharpen your craft because you can always become better, and three, the time to focus on other genres. And this is the chance to have like a side love, and I can't recommend it enough. I hope today's vlog was helpful for you, and I want to know if you're going to an MFA, if you went to an MFA, if you're thinking about applying, let me know. I hope this video was helpful, and I'm so able to answer any other MFA questions, and I just wish you the best of luck with all your writing. Take care. Oh, and make sure subscribe for more writing, okay? Subscribe. Bye.